Testing one, two, three. All right, perfect. So here we are. My name is Wes, and I am here with my wife.
Priscilla.
Perfect. So we are here in our first recording, and we're just kind of considering some names that we want to consider for our YouTube channel. I myself have been able to start something with my brothers. If you're out there, please go out and subscribe to Magna Carta Sports Network. we bring the latest in terms of sports and things of the like. But my wife and I wanted to come together and to build something together. I think the world that we're living in, more and more media and the ability to communicate ideas is becoming more and more important. So we're just going over today for the first time. And babe, what are your thoughts so far on this process?
I feel like I'm picking up exactly where I left off, which is I really hate being on the internet, and I find that this is a really good medium. Um, no pun intended, by just having a video without a video, actual footage of us necessarily, because I think it's a lot of pressure for those that are in entertainment to constantly be quote unquote on and
Dressed to the
camera
nines.
right and camera ready and all of that, and I just think that that's no fun. And like many people, my confidence is not always there to be on camera, whether I'm dressed casually or dressy business casual. I prefer um, so yeah, but I do agree with you that it's important for um, different perspectives to be heard, and just I think uh, doing our part by just adding our voices to the ongoing conversations in media, entertainment, faith, and politics, and home, and marriage, and being first generation, African, you know, immigrants and livers. What else? Oh, yeah, and also having kids. Yeah, so lots of different things and ways to join the conversations.
What are your thoughts right now? Like, I think a lot of people who are in our age range, we know a lot of people who are in the process of trying to get their, their whether they're married or they're getting married, and then they are looking to get into to housing. What are your thoughts right now? Just in terms of the process, like we were really blessed to get into our home before the market kind of took off. Um,
Oh, yeah.
can you?
Hmm.
What will be your thoughts right now if we were married, we had one child, and we were still just kind of living in an apartment? What will be your thoughts?
Ouch. That's a scenario I, like many people, did not prefer to be in. Grateful for family and all that God has allowed us to um, obtain and achieve even to this point. But I think that that is an increasing challenge when you're in an apartment and you're trying to save. But at the same time, you know, you may be paying for daycare and all of those things, which is helping to eat at your budget, So that's a challenge I'm sure everybody can, relate to, or many people at that. So yeah, that's a situation I did not want to be in. Nonetheless, that is what many of our friends and family and neighbors are having to deal with. So if I was in that situation, per your question, um, you know, it would be really, really important to think outside the box.
Yeah.
I personally, I agree with having like all the side hustles and, the Ubers and all those types of businesses. People are getting, super creative and hustling. And I respect that absolutely. Um, it is necessary, but you can also think outside the box. That's some stuff that we have been chatting about before. You were talking about how many people might be coming into the United States and they're willing to hustle, with a different and vigorous effort, and willing to take on certain living conditions, even, you know, maybe I shouldn't say willing, but, in desperation, taking on certain living conditions. With that, folks might be able to save more.
Yeah.
Um, and forgive me for any of my ignorance on the economic level. Perhaps there are immigrant families that might be coming into the country and willing to live in, with more family members, right? With multiple different family members and generations in one household, whereas many of us are living, one sibling and their family at a time in one household with so many empty rooms, etc. So those are some ways that people will be able to think outside the box in terms of trying to save for homes and just taking on multiple jobs. At the end of the day, you might have a 1 year or 2 year plan, but really that's just a couple months.
Definitely.
So yeah.
No, I think it's interesting right now, because, like you said, I think a lot of people are getting into the idea of house hacking, where you are getting, so everyone wants the big house or the white picket fence, but I think people are looking for duplexes now. They're already living in apartments or townhomes or something like that. You live in one side, you rent out the other side, and then eventually you end up moving someone into that particular location. It's definitely an option right now, but I think more than anything, and then I think about it of what I would do if the opportunity presented itself, and it's just you got to find ways right now because life is not easy. We have a lot of people who are coming into the country right now who are going to need housing as well, and we're already short in terms of housing. And just navigating that space is going to be something that really requires your time and your thoughts process overall. What are your thoughts right now on the side hustle gig life overall? Like, do you think that it's something that's required after going to college and everything else? Like if you can go back to being 18 again, what are your thoughts on schooling? Because like for our if yeah, so let's talk about that, right? What are your thoughts on if you would go back to being 18? You're a parent now. You have a child that's coming up. Like, there's, in my opinion, there's like 3 or 4 degrees that I would encourage him to go into the college. Outside of that, it's kind of like, yeah. What's the point? What are your thoughts?
Educate yourself about education in this country.
That's
So there are so many different levels to that question. But if I was 18 again, I'd probably be looking more so at community college, getting generals done perhaps, or some vocations that will bring you, the 6-figure positions and all of that. Another thing I realized, late in the game, probably after, right? I mean, hey, I'm still young, but anyway, you know, these businesses will even help you pay for your college. So you don't have to take out as many loans as I did, right? Just out of ignorance and kind of moving with the crowd and thinking like, hey, it's normal, whatever. Clearly people are able to pay off this amount of debt if everybody's doing it. So, yes, there's a couple different avenues to take, and sort of really the goal would be to just minimize your debt and liability in that way, so that you are not, in a hole before you even realize it. Because at age 18, when you signing away all them loans, more than half of us, and that's just being generous, but I would say more than half of us do not know the weight of our signature on those documents when we're signing it just to register for classes and move into your dorm, early September, and just be ready for, what is it, Thirsty Thursdays and all that stuff, if people still call it that. So yeah, there's just a lot of ignorance that's, going along with that process. So a couple different avenues to look into. If you're young, you can look at community college, you can look at vocational trainings, you can start working maybe right away. If you have good leadership and mentors that will help, keep you accountable and focused, right, at that young of an age, getting, probably more money in your pocket than you've ever had, just because you're not in school anymore for 8+ hours a day, whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of different avenues you could take as a young person instead of going directly to college. yeah, irrespective of whatever degree you're pursuing. At least I think when you're older or you're more educated about education in this country, you are likely to um, better analyze and understand the magnitude of the money
Yeah.
that it takes to go into school.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I think it's interesting right now, especially with so much. I think life has changed so much from the '90s and from the early 2000s that we're playing by different rules. You know what I mean? Like in the early '40s and '50s, it was all about you knowing about industrial factory and things like that. Now, and in the 2000s, it was about working on computers, and life is changing even more now. You know, the cost of housing continues to rise, and it's still entry level jobs are still paying $40,000 or $50,000 a year. So, yeah, just finding different ways of what works and what is it that's going to be successful. So, yeah, any final words for the people?
um, just continue learning and exploring. I think that's what a lot of us, even millennials right now, are still doing. Um, so yeah, keep learning and exploring and building something for yourself. We are all still young and capable by God's grace of learning. So, at whatever speed you're doing it, keep pushing because today becomes yesterday and tomorrow's got a lot going on. God willing.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. Yeah. So, thanks guys for listening in with us. We will be back. We will do our best to come up with content on a regular basis, daily, maybe a few times per week, but we'll see how that goes. And if you're the first time joining, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And have a blessed day.